All right, so you want to find out how to overcome imposter syndrome. To begin, I think you have to know what is at the root of your imposter syndrome. And really, imposter syndrome is rooted in the fear of being exposed, of being found out to be incompetent or lacking the skills and abilities you need in order to do whatever you're attempting to do well. So let's dig into that. Why do you have this fear of being exposed? So if I was to ask you, why do you have the fear of being exposed? Why are you scared of your coworkers or your colleagues finding out potentially that you're a fraud, that you're not the real deal, that you're an empty suit? You probably would respond by saying something along the lines of like, well, I don't want to be judged by people. I don't want people to think that I'm not really equipped to do my job well. And then I would respond to you by saying, okay, so what if they do? What if they do think you're not equipped to do your job well? Then you may say something like, well, if they don't think that I can do my job well, then they will think that I'm incompetent. They will think that they can't put their trust in me, that I can't be dependent on to complete the tasks that they're assigning me. They'll lose confidence in me. And I would respond to you by saying, okay, and at that point, you'll probably get a little frustrated with me because you'll think, well, isn't it obvious? If they lose trust in me, if they think that I'm incompetent, if they think that I can't do my job well, that could lead to me losing my livelihood. I'll get fired. I'll lose my job. I'll be out of work. And then that's when I would say to you, bingo, that's really at the root of your fear. You believe that your coworkers, your manager, your supervisor, they ultimately control your professional destiny. And what I would encourage you to do is go back to a previous video that I did around how to get promoted without the stress and burnout and look at the first principle in that video. The first principle in that video, or the belief that I adopted, that I share in that video, is knowing, truly knowing that your promotion does not come from a random supervisor or manager, doesn't come from your coworkers or colleagues. Your promotion comes from your creator. These people on your job, they did not make you. They are not going to break you. Know that it was God who put you in your position, and it will be Him who decides when it's time for you to move on from it. So stop giving people so much power, because if you do, if you continue to, you will continue to worry and stress. See, a lot of the imposter syndrome, the people pleasing, the fear of people, it comes because we're assigning people too much power. People do not control our destiny. People cannot stop the plans that God has for us. They just cannot. And you need to be rooted and grounded in that belief sincerely, not just lip service, not just saying like, oh yeah, I know that if God shuts a door, He'll open a window. Oh, I know that man can't do this or that. No. You gotta believe it with every fiber of your being. Because once you get grounded in that, you'll stop going to your job and being so worried about impressing the manager, the president, the executive director, fearing, oh, I can't make a mistake. I have to do everything perfectly. I have to outwork everybody because I can't get exposed because these people control whether or not I work or I don't work. See, once you move past that faulty belief system that people are controlling your professional destiny or any part of your destiny, and you move into being grounded, deeply rooted and grounded in the belief that your creator, your maker made you. Your maker is directing your steps and your pathways. Your maker is opening doors for you. Your maker is the one who put you in the position that you are currently in. And it is only going to be God Almighty who decides when it is time for you to move on. Like I said in previous videos, it's not going to matter who's conspiring against you, who's plotting against you, who's trying to throw you under the bus. Once you get rooted in the belief, I'm not going anywhere. Right? Like Jennifer Holliday, Jennifer Hudson, depending on your age, I'm not going anywhere until it's my time to go and my creator has determined it's time for me to move on from here. Once you get rooted in that, you will show up to work in an entirely different way. You no longer are going to be feeling like, I can't make a mistake, I have to do everything perfect because I can't be found out to be a fraud. I have to work these late hours even though I need to be at home attending to my family, right? I need to be taking care of my physical health, but I can't because I gotta outwork everybody. You'll move on from that to focusing in on, how do I do this job that my God has entrusted with me well? And that's a different feeling that's gonna come over you. Because when you are looking at it like, how can I do this job? How can I operate in this position with excellence? Because my Creator has entrusted me with this, has opened this door for me. When you start operating from that space, then you start to embrace new challenges. You start to see things that you don't know as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to grow, knowing that God knew what skills you possess before He opened up this opportunity for you. He was fully aware of it. So you don't need to fear Him finding out, you being exposed to Him. He knew exactly who you were before He allowed you to get promoted, before He allowed that speaking engagement to come to you, before He allowed people to say that they want to work with you as a client. He knew exactly who you were, the skills that you possessed, the skills that you didn't possess. So you don't need to fear being found out by Him. You just need to focus on being faithful, being a good steward of the position that you have been entrusted with, the clients you've been entrusted with, the platform, the opportunity that you've been entrusted with. Just focus on being a good steward of that and doing what you've been entrusted with well. And that's gonna free you of a lot of this stress, this pressure to perform, to outdo, to outwork, to be seen as perfect, flawless, never making a mistake. It will free you from all of that, because you'll stop putting people on a pedestal and almost making them a god in your life, and you'll start yielding to the one and only true God, right? And that's just gonna free you up. That's gonna cause you to be able to do your work and to perform with a certain level of ease, and stop with the imposter syndrome, fearing that you're gonna be exposed. All right, so that's just one tip on how you can go from being so fearful and dealing with imposter syndrome to really being free and being able to do your work with a lightness and an ease and an enjoyment. I'm gonna be providing more tips in future videos, so again, make sure you subscribe. And then also, I know in the previous video I talked about, what if you are an imposter? It's not just imposter syndrome, but you actually are faking it and you need to grow and come up in some areas. I'm also gonna be doing some future videos on how to become the real deal if you feel like, I actually may be an imposter. So subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to sharing more tips with you in the future.